If you're not entirely familiar with local customs, it's awfully easy to make a fool of yourself when you're travelling abroad. For example, if you come to any Sardinian town or village about this time of the evening, between 6 and 8 o'clock, and particularly on Sundays, you'll find the passeggiata in full swing. The passeggiata is what it looks like. It's a parade. All the mums and dads and all the girls and boys walk up and down the same stretch of street, just looking at each other. And if you care to join in, you'll be very welcome, but just be careful.
However exciting it looks, and however obvious the chances may appear, the passeggiata is not what it seems. It's not a place for making friends. Married couples and families can walk together, yes. Even engaged couples, but otherwise the sexes must stay strictly segregated. Eloquent looks can be exchanged, but not words, because convention forbids it without a proper introduction. It's still far from easy for Sardinian boys and girls to get together. And so well observed are the rules that it's hard to make out how they ever get beyond this orgy of making eyes. Sardinian males are very resourceful. They have to be to take that first step without breaking the rules. They have all kinds of charming and elaborate ways of breaking the ice, but none more strange and extravagant than this. These are the men of the village of Mamoiada, out courting. They may not be every girl's idea of Prince Charming, and their clothes may be 2,000 or 3,000 years out of fashion, but you've got to admit they're different. They're the Mamuthones, or devil dancers, and there's a very ancient tradition that while they're wearing this costume, they can do as they please. They can break all the rules and take none of the consequences. They can do much more than look at the girl they fancy. They can forget every scrap of old-world courtesy and just rope her like a steer. The 8 men with the lassos are called Issohadores, and they normally use their skill out in the country catching cows. But today, they can forget the cattle and concentrate on the plough. In this sort of situation, it's difficult for a girl not to strike up some sort of acquaintance. One ardent shepherd was so determined that he slipped a ring on the captive finger and roped her for life. The girls don't seem to mind too much. It must be a great relief to experience a direct approach after all that walking up and down with eyelashes aflutter. It's not a pretty face, the Mamontone, but then the original intention of all this wasn't to win wives. It was to scare away evil spirits. The dress, the mask, and the strange lurching step have somehow survived for at least 3,000 years. Generation after generation of villagers have carved these masks from alder wood. Recently, identical masks in terracotta were found in the graves of the Nuragic people who flourished here 1,000 years before Christ. Despite the fact that each dancer carries 80 pounds of sheep bells on his back, that he sweats under layers of thick black sheepskin, and that he sometimes keeps this caper up for 4 hours, there's never any difficulty in finding recruits. The number of dancers is limited to 20, and there's always a long waiting list of hopefuls. They're taught the routine by some local Victor Sylvester, but when it comes to the final examinations, though dainty footwork is important, it's always sheer brute strength that gets to the top of the class. To dance the shake in any dress can be tiring, but to do it with a minimum of 72 brass bells strapped to your back is distinctly penalising.